Path of Night is an actual play Vampire the Masquerade podcast set in the classic world of darkness. We're all friends, we're here to have fun, but our story can include graphic violence, drug use, sexual content, and other mature themes. We've talked at our table about safety, comfort, and consent both as players and storytellers. We know what to expect, we're all excited to be here, and we want you to feel the same. So listener discretion is advised. Now let's walk the Path of Night.
Miles Davenport, after the events that took place at the last Elysium and the very near Praxis attempt, you have found yourself over the past few weeks coordinating with what resources remain to attempt to maintain the masquerade despite the ridiculous behavior of this apparent single Sabbat pack that is now operating in the area. This has come in the form of bribes to police. This has come in the form of media interventions. This is all sorts of solutions have been applied, but it seems like it's becoming worse and worse. This pack is extremely aggressive in terms of its ability to undermine the masquerade. Now that Prince Rowlands is awake and in a better position, he has requested that you meet him at the Connecticut Financial Center in New Haven. It's a building that's been built within the last decade, and it is the tallest building in New Haven and has like a nice view of the New Haven Green. When you arrive, servants of the prince meet with you, and you're escorted up for a nice elevator ride. When you come out, it is to a posh office that has a very nice view of the city itself. His Grace is present. He seems to have a seat ready for you. He has already lit a cigar. As you kind of come close, he stands up to greet you. The prince actually offers you a handshake and speaks up. Miles, you've done some very good work in the recent weeks regarding this threat. But I think it's time we talk some strategy. So why don't you have a seat? Can I interest you in a cigar?
Yes, thank you, Your Grace.
He cuts you a cigar. He gives you the means with which to light it. So first and foremost, I wish to reward your hard work. And he opens up the side of his desk and retrieves for you a very nice little sandalwood box. And he sets it out for you. That is for you. Very well earned. And I would like you to have it.
Thank you. I will turn the box around and then open it.
Within it is a pin, and on that pin is an iron circlet. It is a Ventrue dignitas that is representative of one's dedication to the clan.
It's much appreciated, Your Grace. And I will make a show of putting it on, right there, and then, putting it in the appropriate spot.
It's like a smug pride to him when you do it. Now, for the next order of business, I wish for you to serve in an elevated position within the domain of New Haven. I am giving you the position of sheriff as of this night forward.
What is to happen to Mr. Weathers?
He's a bruja. He can return to the rest of the rabble, and they can spend their nights doing whatever it is that they do, provided he embraces the two children that is expected of him.
Of course, but Mr. Weathers was also there and defending the domain the night that the praxis was taking place.
That is very true, Miles. He was there and responsible for the events that happened at the Elysium that it was his duty to defend.
He did help defend the Elysium.
He was there. The truth of the matter is, he is not deserving of this title any further. And the reality is, after everything that happened, someone has to pay the price.
So we've decided that Mr. Weathers will do so.
Yes. And you shall take his place. I've seen your ability to coordinate disparate kindred of various clans. If you can put that gangrel to work, you should be able to organize just about anyone.
Thank you, Your Grace, but I've being in and around court and coordinations are sometimes an impediment of me getting things done for the domain.
Miles, this is not a negotiation.
No,
You are the sheriff. And should you need time to accomplish matters, I have no doubt that you can assign bully boys to see to it that the work you need is done.
What about the other positions in the domain?
Actually, I was thinking that as my sheriff, you and I might discuss it.
Let's continue forth then.
In light of the recent Sabbat attacks, I am of the opinion that Mr. John Reese is needed by this city. It is my intention to make a little bit of a show of some sort of punishment for allowing things to get as out of hand as they did. But we must be very careful about how we go to do that. He is a valued asset of the domain. I cannot have him stressed.
I think Mr. Reese needs to answer for a few things first before we can come to that. I understand him being a valuable asset to the domain with the oncoming Sabbat, but he needs to answer for some things. Otherwise, his continued presence here will be a problem.
Go on.
Well, he was instrumental in removing those that were trying to protect you and quite possibly locating your grace to be attacked for the praxis.
I had a conversation with Reese. He informed me that he was not aware of the extent to which those plotting against me were in fact plotting against me. And when he found out, he subverted their attempt and ensured that my own life was kept intact.
I ensured your own life was kept intact.
But he helped.
He was actually instrumental in being a impediment to such things.
Miles, he and I are very old friends.
Yes, but he's also not of the clan.
This is true.
And he was instrumental in putting not only you, but my sire into danger. And I believe my sire helped you get through that particular event. So we should proceed with caution when it comes to Mr. Reese. And
I agree that we should proceed with caution. And we should levy some sort of punishment upon him that makes him aware that we have shown him mercy in this instance and secure his aid for future actions taken against the Sabbat.
we can bind him into a contract.
A contract.
I've talked a bit with my sire about this, and there's a couple things we can do to ensure his continued help to the domain and the Camarilla and as we go forward.
I should warn you that Mr. Reese has a life boon that I owe him. I do not know how much we will be able to leverage such a thing against him. However, perhaps something else can be arranged. Perhaps he can in turn owe boons. Perhaps we can press him for favors of our own.
I feel like those things are quite possible, but we cannot restore his position in the domain either, in light of everything that had happened.
Who would I make seneschal in his stead?
I have a suggestion.
Who is your suggestion?
Elsa Linden.
The Viper?
Is it not best to keep a Viper close to you?
If that's the case, we should keep Reese right where he is. But if your intention is to prevent a potential threat to my praxis from being seneschal, replacing with Elsa Linden does me very little good.
I understand, but Elsa Linden helps to smooth things over where normally your power and presence disturbs things.
What insurances that we have that empowering Elsa Linden at the detriment of Reese is going to provide us a long-term advantage?
Elsa Linden owes me and my coterie a life boon.
Is this claimed?
Not yet, but will be soon enough.
If it is claimed, I believe that provides us the advantage that we would need in the event she attempts to turn on me.
Being that my coterie may die to save her life.
Yes, they, what clan was he?
Malkavian.
Yes. Tragic.
Yes.
Well, let us, before we continue, I do wish you to know that your friend, the Malkavian, a sire who was a significant threat to the domain for a time. He was something of an Assamite cultist who had ties back to their stronghold, Alamut. It would seem that despite his heritage, your friend proved to be a truly loyal servant of the Camarilla.
Yes. He has been very helpful to me in my goals and aims, which have always been to the Camarilla and this domain.
Very good. Now, I wish for you to see to a handful of matters immediately as of tonight, becoming sheriff of this domain. Arabella Rowlands is missing.
Has been.
Yes. I would like her collected, her unlife intact. I have many questions for my wayward child as to why it is that she would betray her clan.
I can see what I can do.
In addition to this, Mr. Xantosa must be found. The Tremere require him for experimentation.
Very good, but I am loath to hand over the Xantosa to the Tremere.
Why is that?
He's dangerous and powerful on his own before he gained unlife.
Yes, however, there is no clan better suited to examining what it is that makes this individual tick in preparation for more direct conflict with the Sabbat. I understand that the Tremere are snakes and untrustworthy. I'm not a fool, Miles. But what I will tell you is that the Tremere have been our clan's longest-standing allies, and their thaumaturgical might allows them to contend with the Sabbat in ways that many of the clans cannot.
I understand, but I also need to check, because my sire also desired the Xantosa.
To what end?
He needed him alive, and that was the information that was given to me. Regardless, the Xantosa needs to be found, and he needs to be contained.
Yes, and I will tell you that I do recommend you direct your side to speak with me on this matter, as while I do respect his authority as an Archon, it does not supersede the will of a prince in his domain.
No, but you were there at the conversation present that he had asked for him.
What conversation?
The one when you and the Archon and Reese all came to awaken myself and the Bruja.
Yes, of course.
There was so many things going on. I
Yes.
understand that it got lost in the shuffle.
I had a great deal to consider, and will say that while your sire is welcome to continue our working relationship, the Xantosa must be provided to the Tremere. My domain needs it.
What happens if it does not get the Tremere don't get it?
Then my domain is left at a disadvantage in a war against the Sabbat.
Who are the Tremeres requesting such things?
The New Haven Chantry.
So Reese.
Well, the Chantry as a whole.
Is Reese still in control of the Chantry?
Yes.
Very good. I will do my best.
You will succeed, and he points to that pin on your chest.
Have I failed yet?
Well, I don't have the Xantosa, Miles. Let's not get ahead of ourselves.
Well, I was a little busy that night.
Well, perhaps. Well, anyways, make the arrangements, secure Xantosa, secure Arabella Rowlands, and be sure to let Weathers know. He has, we'll say, a week to pack up his things.
So I'm allowed to elevate those to the positions I need as of right now?
Yes, if you would like, you can award him the title of Bully Boy, and he can serve you, but he needs to get his things out of the office so that the domain understands who it is that serves as sheriff of this domain.
With Arabella gone, we also are missing a harpy currently, too.
Yes, though traditionally the harpy is determined by the Primogen Council.
We usually have a voice in such things, though.
We do. We have a vote just as the rest of the Primogen do.
Mm-hmm.
Is there someone that you're recommending?
Not at this time, but of the people that was helpful during the whole fight over the domain, Both Fester and Jane were helpful.
Jane, Miles, you do understand that she is also Bruja, yes?
Yes,
You
but
would
not
have-
quite the same as the other Bruja.
You would have this domain converted into a new Carthage, or I'm not here to stop you.
I have a tendency to believe to reward those who do work for the domain.
Miles, reward those who stand above and deserve such praise. If we were to reward everyone for doing the basics of their duties, everyone would have be of great standing, and everyone would be equally important to the domain. It would be nonsense.
We're asking a lot of the Bruja right now. And while I don't necessarily reward them for their loyalty to Shaw recently,
He rolls his eyes. Miles, we're asking that they embrace Childer. Have you seen how many there already are? This is nothing to them.
to some of them,
You know what you should do, Sheriff? You could repopulate the local gangrel.
you're asking me to tell the gangrel to do things.
I've seen you do it.
That's a working relationship.
Well, work it.
I will see what I can do to convince local gangrel to continue.
Miles, when I ask for these things, you must respond with confidence.
I am, but I tell you these things because not everything can come to the degree which you wish.
It sounds like you're attempting to get me to couch my expectations. And frankly, I will not see these things done.
They will be done.
Thank you. Now, with that said, bearer of the Iron Circlet. Well, Sheriff, if you have any questions, you have my undivided attention for the moment. What would you like to discuss? He puffs on his cigar.
I think at this moment there's not much else. You've covered everything that the domain needs at this point.
Yes, I tend to have a good pulse on that sort of thing.
I will come together with a plan for moving forward with Reese and what we should do to keep his friendship with the domain in a positive light while showing our displeasure at his actions.
Excellent. Give me a praise of any discussions that have regarding the future of this domain. From here on out, I intend to know everything.
Of course.
Excellent.
I will go visit Sheriff Weathers, and I will finish up and talk with Elsa Linden to get those things moving.
Wait, what did we want from Elsa Linden?
To discuss the life boon with her.
Yes, okay, very well. I will see you soon. He gives you a handshake, and he opens the door. His servant's waiting there, and they will escort you downstairs. And that resolves your meeting with Prince Rowlands.
And the car kind of work the kinks out of my neck. Oh, it's always fun. Oh man, I probably drove here in a fun car.
What did you drive in?
Can I have the Lambo? Can I?
You can have the Lambo.
Okay.
Describe the Lambo.
It is a... I can't just say dark purple. Not at this point in our lives. I mean, if we were keeping with a theme, we've seen some sort of weather thing like stormy violet. Or something.
Sunset violet, stormy violet.
Violet. So like a gray purple kind of sheen. Yes. A stormy violet Lamborghini Diablo.
The Diablo waits.
This is a good way to relieve stress as we continue forward with today.
You started up at Purrs,
Yes.
and you journey forth with it.
I feel better already. I can feel my humanity restoring.
So where are you headed?
We should probably visit Mr. Weathers first.
Mr. Weathers is at Elysium, currently coordinating defenses against the Sabbat.
Oh, boy. Probably. I feel like I should tell Johnny, but maybe I should just get this over with and come to an understanding with Weathers on my own and not involve Johnny's relationship in such things. And also, with his Sabbat problems right now, I don't want to further make that an issue. So we will drive up to the Elysium, have my car parked, and proceed inside.
Excellent. Your car is parked, nice and in view of everyone. It's kind of like it's like this really kind of soft, pottering rain. You kind of make your way over with an umbrella, head on inside. the Elysium itself is largely empty. No one is going out and enjoying the company of other kindred in light of the Sabbat presence within the domain. You find yourself heading to that little office.
The familiar office of Mr. Weathers.
Yeah. Weathers is there. He is accompanied. It's him, and he's kind of hanging out with this this kind of bulky, muscular black guy in a leather jacket with red-tinted sunglasses and a New York Yankees baseball cap. And the two of them are kind of laughing about something. Being a little bit of work buddies, you know what I mean? They're kind of like getting along pretty good.
Do I
Both kind
know
of pause
him?
when they recognize you. Do you have kindred lore or politics?
Politics.
Why don't you roll me an intelligence politics at difficulty 4?
That'll be 3 successes.
With 3 successes, you recognize the other individual as the infamous Archon Killer B, a.k.a. Archon Theo Bell.
I will walk in and to the edge of the office until they look at me, and then I will look. Archon Bell?
He kind of gives you a look that he acknowledges that you're there. Weathers turns his attention to you. What's up, Miles?
We need to discuss something.
Like some privacy?
That'd probably be best.
Archon Bell kind of interjects. That's no problem. I need to go check on a few matters anyways. And he turns and makes his exit. Weathers invites you in, closes the door in the office, takes a seat. So what exactly is it?
It's the prince handing out edicts.
Already?
This is surprising. I'm surprised it lasted this long.
Anything useful?
Depends on how you feel about it.
All right, what does he want?
He wants me to be sheriff.
Come again?
You heard me.
At the "you heard me," his neck audibly cracks. Yeah, I guess I did hear you.
Sorry, I did not mean to be offensive in that way, but I'm not prone to repeating myself either.
So it's like that.
No, I very much argued for you to stay in your position.
And what, he just insisted and
Have you
capitulated?
Have you met him? I didn't have enough to wiggle out of it. So how do you want to proceed? Because I very much like to have both your help and
yeah,
for you
of course. Without me, everything's going to go to shit and you're going to look bad.
I want your help because you're a good person and you've helped us on numerous occasions, and I want to continue our relationship to be good. I am not the prince, and you know that. I owe you a boon, Weathers. A boon you didn't necessarily need to do. You didn't necessarily even make happen, but I did. You know that I am fair about this stuff.
I'm going to have to think about it.
You have some time. Unfortunately, the time is not a lot because the prince gave you a week to remove your stuff, as he said.
I'll be packed up and out of here in a day.
That doesn't sound good. What other things are you considering?
Everything.
I'd rather not see you leave.
I'd rather not be reduced to some lackey who's also forced to mass embrace. But like you said, we know the prince.
I don't think that edict came from him. And you know that edict didn't come from him.
Yeah, he didn't exactly say no to it. If he's the prince, he can own what happens in his domain.
Yet again, I know this isn't the best circumstance.
No, it's not.
And I don't necessarily want to see a mass embrace of people to go off and die either. I know that that's not what the Bruja want done either.
The Bruja wanted Shaw in charge.
Which would have been also bad.
Yeah, I guess it's just picking your poison at this point.
We're working on managing that poison.
Who's we?
Myself. I am also trying to get Elsa Linden and Jane in positions to help.
Well, I wish you the best of luck. He holds his hand out to give a shake.
I don't want you to leave, Sheriff.
You're the sheriff.
I need your help.
And I said I'll think about it.
What can I do to help?
Shake my hand. Say goodbye. Stay out of my way for a while.
Very good. You have my number. Anything you need.
He kind of gives you a handshake, and he starts kind of arranging his stuff. He doesn't really seem to kind of waste any time about it, you know? He just kind of moves to get it resolved right then and there. Over the course of about 20 minutes, he gets most of things packed. Jane appears. She kind of gives you a curt nod, and she goes about loading things into the couple boxes that she brought with her.
Are you also leaving, Jane?
I don't know, what do Weathers say?
Weathers is thinking about it.
That I'm thinking about it. She kind of like punches your shoulder. Not like hard enough to like hurt you, but like way fucking harder than like than like people usually give on those light jabs. Not like intentionally, just
Right.
you know. And the two of them make their way out of Elysium. Within moments, the handful of like shithead Toreador that are there are already kind of gossiping and giggling.
So now I look upon this scuffed, small office that is apparently mine.
With no windows.
How did he get himself in this position? I need a better office.
He heads out. You kind of hear like murmurings about.
Did he give me any of the information he was using to coordinate, or did he leave me in a lurch?
He did not give you anything. He just left.
Fucking Rowlands. Couldn't just leave it alone.
The Toreador kind of make little quips about the field sheriff, formerly the house sheriff.
That is not cool.
No, it's awful. It's like that awful late 90s sense of humor that's just like not really okay. Yeah, they're that.
I was counting on them to keep their infrastructure. I will... Shit. I call Marcos.
Yes.
Marcos, good news.
What is the good news?
We have been elevated to sheriff.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Shall I prepare feeding for you in celebration?
Not at this moment. I'm doing okay. But the old sheriff has left currently, and I need your help.
What can I do to help you?
We need to get his phone, his information, his contacts in line. So I need the bully boys and all that information that he was previously had. And I need to get them informed and get that moving.
I will prepare a Rolodex for you immediately.
You might need to find a position, somebody to help me manage this. You know, some people that might be of use.
Yes, I do. Like I said, I will arrange phone numbers and various forms of contact for you immediately.
Very good. Put yourself in that structure if you can, and make a note. We need to have a discussion soon ourselves, just me and you. Set it up at the Royale.
Yes, of course. He goes ahead and makes sure to take care of all of that for you.
Thank you, Marcus.
So there you are, in your office.
Being that I just passed off almost all my responsibilities to Michael. Yeah, totally.
Yep.
Look, he'll find somebody to help me do that. I am not equipped for this kind of stuff. That is why I have a ghoul. I'm going to go visit Elsa Linden at this point.
You drive to a Victorian-styled house that has beautiful painting on it, like you know those Victorian-style houses that have like almost like a pink paint and then like a purple or a green and this and that and just this really like intricately done house. She has that.
Her domain is very soothing.
You arrive.
Does she have any known ghouls or anything working for her?
Yes, she does.
I assumed. So I will have them park my car for me and announce myself to her, and hopefully she will meet with me.
The retainers meet with you. They actually kind of go to turn you away at first, but aware of your position of sheriff, they end up actually inviting you in.
Oh, that was quick. All right, Toreador.
Yeah. Coming downstairs, dressed in, I want to say she's like kind of quote unquote dressed down. A very nice like velvety clothing. All of her makeup is on. Her earrings are on. She's wearing some jewelry. And she is carrying with her this like little glass of what could be wine if she was a mere mortal.
I think she used celerity to get ready.
That is something she's capable of.
Anyways, she seems very well put together for a surprise visit.
I suppose congratulations are in order, Sheriff.
Thank you. Though, I think the work has just begun. I'm not necessarily happy about how this is going out.
Why is that?
Sheriff Weathers was helpful in keeping this domain before, even if he was sometimes a social liability.
I think you pretty well summed up my opinion of that.
He did help. Unfortunately, his involvement was part of what gave Shaw power,
Yes.
which we have all seen neatly to ending.
Why are you here?
Because it is time for us to discuss moving forward with this domain.
Ah. You don't possibly mean move forward as in preparations for the Sabbat invasion.
That's part of it, but in a different circumstance. That's not necessarily your particular field of expertise.
No, but it is something that I am curious about. You see, I have contacts outside of this region, from here to Los Angeles, and they have informed me that the Sabbat is intending a crusade that starts off in Miami and is intended to sweep up the East Coast. And because of this, Archons have been more active in the area making preparations. But I'm noticing that the only reason that I know this is because I sought the information myself. How much of the domain is aware that the Sabbat intends to sack this domain?
All of the leadership,
I see.
which I'm hoping to add you to it.
There are things that I will require.
There are things I will require.
Since Romeo's final death, I find myself wishing to receive the right of progeny.
I believe that could be arranged.
Good. I would like 2 children and an accelerated accounting. The accounting will conclude when I say that it concludes, not when His Grace does.
I believe these are things that we can make happen. But you haven't asked me what I'm looking for.
You're asking me to help this city reorganize and survive what's coming. And if we are to do that, I intend to have every reason I can find to stay and not simply leave to somewhere that isn't going to be under the duress of constant Sabbat attack.
It is both my goal and my charge to keep this free of Sabbat. And I've been doing work to do this. But Rolla needs assurances too, because he is not pleased with my thought. So I am looking to get the boon for saving your life.
I believe I owe that boon to a dead man.
Who is part of my coterie.
That doesn't entitle you to his things.
No, it doesn't. But you're still here because of him, and it seems dishonorable to do such things.
What would be dishonorable is to attempt to utilize his sacrifice for political gain.
He's also not dead.
Excuse me?
I'm fairly sure he's not dead.
Then find him and tell him to collect it.
Until then, I need your assurances, and then I will move it to him. I will hold it in place.
I see no reason to do that. You have no leverage on me. You need me far more than I need you.
So you're just going to operate like this?
I'm going to pay very close attention to whether or not I give a life boon to someone that Upton Rowlands has sway over.
Upton Rowlands has sway over me because currently I've been instructed to keep him that way.
That is simply the reason why giving you a boon is giving him a boon.
It would not.
When in reality, I could simply wait for the Malkavian Neil to come and collect what he has earned himself. So, here.
Well, what about this? And I know it's not common. We're talking about good faith.
Good faith is always common in the beginning.
Until someone violates
Everyone
it.
makes agreements in good faith. But then you become an elder and realize that that's always destined to fail. So I have a counteroffer.
I'm listening.
If Upton Rowlands gives me whatever position I want, if I want one, and in exchange I don't warn the domain that this Sabbat pack is merely the beginning and there is a massive crusade underway. You see, the Bruja are upset that their children will be sent off to war when they're forced to mass embrace. But it's so much worse than that. Their children are directly fodder. There is no way any of them is surviving.
Some may. But that doesn't help any things. And that's...
No, this is not a conversation for your naivete. They are going to die. So I'm going to withhold that life boon until Neil is ready to collect it. And in the meantime, you will have the ability to inform Upton Rowlands that I will help in good faith.
We can keep proceeding this way, or we can go another way.
What is the other way you're thinking of?
Give me the life boon.
You have to have more than that.
We know other things, too. I'm aware of your circumstances that have led to you being here, and the fact that the Sabbat packs are concerned, and that you want to stay in this domain. Otherwise, you would have already left.
Miles,
So stop pushing me around like I don't know any better.
is your plan to squeeze me for a life boon in exchange for protection from the Sabbat?
No.
Explain your plan. You do not have the right to remind me of anything.
I'm reminding you that my team saved you, and you're deciding to do this to squeeze me.
Squeeze you?
Yes,
What do
I'm
I-
looking to try to help this in this
What
domain, and
precisely
you're...
do I owe you? Me giving you a life boon doesn't help the domain. It satisfies Upton Rowlands' ego, and I don't feel the need to do that. I'm not his cat's paw. You are. That is a you problem, Miles.
I'm aware of my problems. This is a discussion between the two of
Then
us.
do not paint some ridiculous picture that me refusing to placate Upton Rowlands is somehow a betrayal to this domain.
It's a betrayal to me. Regardless of the circumstances, and he may or may not be alive, I like to believe that he's alive. We still went out of the line to help you.
I distinctly recall having helped you in the past as well.
And we traded boons at that time for that to happen. And we are on good standings, and I want to continue our good standings.
And the way that we should continue our good standings, I should give you a life boon that you yourself acknowledged Neil earned.
I will give it to Neil.
You will give it to Neil. And why shouldn't I simply be the one to give it to Neil?
Because I want to move things forward in this domain, and the prince needs help. And you know he needs help.
No, the prince needs to not be prince, and you know that.
I cannot comment on that one way or another.
I know you can't. Just like if Upton Rowlands was to attempt to abuse the boon, you wouldn't be able to comment then either. So I will hold on to my boon.
I would.
If you have another offer, I will hear it. But if not...
Let us find a compromise then.
I
And
give
not
you-
one where you're pushing me because you know that you can.
Then what is your offer, Miles?
Work with me. I will work with Rowlands to accept for now, but I need your help managing both him and the domain.
What are you asking of me specifically?
Don't give me the boon. Hold it for Neil then.
Yes, and?
I will convince Upton that it is happening, and you will register it for Neil then.
You want me to...
What does it hurt to register a life boon with a dead man then?
So you want it logged to Neil?
That's fair.
I can agree to that.
As soon as we get a new harpy in place.
Yes, of course.
But I was hoping you would be Seneschal.
And Reese?
Reese is out for now. Not dead, unfortunately. And unfortunately still part of the domain, but will be handled.
I will serve in this position of Seneschal for the duration of John Reese's absence, however many weeks that is, before Upton rewards him the position again.
I am going to be meting out punishment with some help with the Ventrue in regards to Reese.
Okay.
But I will, if that does not go the way I plan, I will let you know. Or set up...
I would love for the punishment of John Reese to be made a public matter so that I can watch. Because regardless of how that ends, it will make for an eventful evening.
I will see what I can do. I would also enjoy that.
She kind of beams with this, perfect disarming smile. Excellent. We have an agreement.
Very good.
While you are here, is there any refreshments that I can offer you? She kind of, gestures to these bottles. I have no indication as to whether or not they meet your feeding restriction.
The offer is appreciated, but I will pass for today.
Of course. If you don't mind, I'm going to enjoy my drinks for the evening, and I wish you farewell.
I would like to say that regardless of all these circumstances, I've genuinely enjoyed working with you, even at these cross purposes sometimes.
I think you and I can accomplish many things.
Have a good night.
But make no mistake, Upton Rowlands is a weight around your ankles, and if you let him, he will drown you.
I will never let him do such thing.
Good night, Sheriff Davenport.
Good night.
Path of Night is an actual play Vampire the Masquerade podcast set in the classic world of darkness. Britta, the unknown new embrace, was played by Rebecca Steigelfest. Johnny Saxon the Bruja was played by Garrett Gabby. Miles Davenport the Ventrue was played by Tim Davis. Neil Foster the Malkavian was played by Rob Muirhead. Wynn Cabot the Gangrel was played by Erica Webb. Your storyteller was Lex Lopez. Recording by Rebecca Steigelfest. This episode edited by Rob Muirhead. The music used in this episode was January Grunge Lovefest by Technoax. Visit them online at technoax.com, teknoax.com. Path of Night uses the 20th Anniversary Edition rule set of Vampire the Masquerade with a few limited house rules. Vampire the Masquerade and the Storyteller system are owned by Paradox Interactive. Make sure to subscribe to us on iTunes or wherever you get your podcasts. Follow us on Twitter at @PathOfNightPod, on Facebook at facebook.com/PathOfNightPodcast, or email us at pathofnightpodcast@gmail.com. See you next time, Kindred.